This podcast may contain offensive content. You have been warned. Hello, and welcome to the Diecast podcast. This is a very special episode. This is our roundtable episode where we get, for the first time, people from Group A and Group B to come in and sit down together and talk about what the Tomb of Annihilation meant to them, how they felt, the adventures they went on, and the good, the bad, and the somewhat ugly of the adventures that everyone's had. So, this is just a simple sit down, talk about our feelings, talk about our characters, talk about the adventure so far. We recorded this at the end of October and it is February right now. So a lot of time has passed. Many people have been married since that point. It's now a brand new year and we've already started recording season 5 of the Diecast podcast to bring to you hopefully starting sometime in March. We'll get more to that at the end of the episode. So this is Nikki, Trevor, Brendan, and Miles all talking about Group A and Group B and their comparative interactive adventures through the jungles of Chult and the Tomb of Annihilation. I hope everyone enjoys it. As always, don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at Diecast Podcast. You can subscribe to us on any app that plays a podcast, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. And of course, you can find us on our website, www.flyinglizardstudio.com. You can subscribe to this podcast and many other podcasts and new ones coming out in the future. So, roundtable discussion. It's going to be a lot of fun. Get to talk about, see Group A and Group B compared their adventures through the jungle and the same encounters they came across. And I think, I'll see you. I'll do a quick little blurb at the end, a whole bunch of thank yous and everything like that. And I will see you afterwards. Please enjoy the conversation. It was really good. It was really funny. And that is it. I will see everyone after the roundtable. Welcome to the Diecast podcast, the roundtable. The finales have happened, the adventures have concluded, and we've got for the first time ever, Group A and Group B meeting at the same table to talk about their feelings and their adventures and whatnot through the land of Chult. So starting to my left, we have Brendan, who played Milo.
Hi.
We've got Trevor at the end of the table, who played Fenquin.
Hello.
And we've got Miles, who played Lady Alethra.
Hello.
And Nikki, for her first time, playing House of Immaculate Yarn.
Hello.
And we're here to, just talk about what happened and share our feelings about what went on. So just as a fun question I wanted to lead off with, just by show of hands, raise them up in the air. Who solved the death curse?
I think we did.
I mean, kind of.
I heard that we did because we blew up the thing, right?
Yeah. Off camera.
Raise your hands. Who solved the death curse?
Yeah, it's a shaky hand.
Oh, no.
So at one point, all 4 hands went up.
I was waiting for Brendan.
Yeah. So I will have to say, officially, Group A did solve the death curse.
Congratulations.
Boo.
I mean, but we left so much fun for you.
Well, we blew up the tomb, so
salted the earth.
Let's actually, you know what? I want to save that for the end. So let's start off with Portney and Zaru and your first times coming into the port city. Let's start off with Group A, and for Nikki, this was your first time playing D&D, and for Brennan, this was the first time into the new adventures of Tomb of Annihilation. What were your feelings? What were your thoughts of it? It could be person, character, or what have you. Just like, what were you feeling when you first stepped onto the shores?
The bi-post was terrifying. I had literal dreams about that.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. It was weird.
I'm proud. That's a good thing. Well, because it was my very first game ever. And I'd never played anything even remotely similar to this before. Honestly, what was going through my head is, what the fuck is happening? I had no idea what I was doing. I think it's very clear. If you listen to the first episode, I tried to go with the flow. I tried to be weird. I think I succeeded there.
Hey, the thing you did in the very first episode came back around and existed in the very last episode.
That's true.
Yes.
Mirror pajamas appear in the first and last episode.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Mirror pajamas
Yeah.
forever.
So I was nervous more than anything else. I think it took me like that first time about an hour to calm down before I started to feel kind of like, okay, I got this, sort of. I was really worried about screwing it up somehow. Like, I didn't know what that meant to screw it up, but I just was concerned about screwing up.
And then no one could play D&D
Ever again.
You broke it.
My God.
Yeah, I was just worried about like breaking some sort of rule I should have been warned about, or I don't know.
Oh, no,
I just didn't know what the flow was. I had no idea what
We
I was
make
doing.
mistakes all the time, so don't,
Yeah.
Yeah, tons of mistakes. So many mistakes.
All right, so Group B coming in, because you guys came in officially because I just based it on whoever recorded first. The next week was going to be a week afterwards.
Yeah.
So Group B came in 1 week afterwards. The dino racing cheating had already happened.
Yeah, but
that's
also
right.
John had misled me before the recording had happened. So going into season 4, we knew they were doing 2 groups. But John had told me that our group was going to run through Storm King's Thunder. And so I had designed a character for Storm King's Thunder who spoke giant and a few other languages that would be useful in Storm King's Thunder. And then as it went on, I was like, oh, we are not playing Storm King's Thunder. So that was a fun reveal for me. That made that first episode very fun.
It's funny enough, that giant language would have come in handy if you talked to the frost giants at all.
Well, we saw one of their still corpses or statues.
Yeah.
Petrified creature. I don't know. Petrified
Yeah,
beings.
it works.
Yeah.
And I think because this is the 3rd module that we've played published by Wizards, and I think this is the best of the 3. I mean, the first 2 were like the first 2 books they published with 5th edition. But it's like Port Nianzaro is just a much more realized place than like Greenest or the descriptions you get of like Waterdeep and those things like that.
So Franklin, Trevor, how did you feel about coming into?
Ooh, I'm trying to remember that far back. It was good. Franken is very different from Hawk.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I had to, read my character sheet on this time through and try and figure out the druid stuff.
And going from melee to spellcaster must have been.
Yeah, this is my first time playing a spellcaster, and it's a lot of like remembering to. I'd always be like, oh, I should play this spell. Oh wait, I didn't prepare it. Oh, whoops. That would have been helpful next time.
It was very nice not having to rein you in because you're a very good player and a very creative player, but Hawk was always just like, oh my god, he's just like ruining all my plans. Oh, this is so exhausting.
Yeah, Franken was stubborn in a different way. Franken was stubborn in but he also had deeply held convictions, which I think is helpful.
Yeah, that does help.
One of the interesting things, and one of the things we were highlighting a lot for the campaign was the choice of guides, and that they would be limited in who you could choose. So whoever wants to fire off first, what was your main motivation for picking the guides that you picked? And were there any second choices that you had?
Reverse xenophobia for Nikki.
Actually, no. You know what my phrase would have been for my choice? 2 for 1.
Oh, twofer. I
Twofer.
forgot about the twofer.
I got a twofer.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of species connection there. I appreciated that as a newly minted tabaxi. So that's kind of what I went. Oh, also because we didn't we like find their advertisement like literally under a table or something?
Yeah.
I liked that aspect of it too. It was gritty, a little dangerous, potentially stupid.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But I liked that. And, we always went for broke with everything. And I think that was the beginning of the going for broke where we just didn't care.
It even came with a warning that you knew was going to come back, and I was like,
Yeah, no. And then I completely forgot.
Nikki.
Yeah, no, seriously. It's like, that's future Nikki's problem. And then I got upset later when that came out.
So their notice is like, oh, by the way, we are like in the pocket of the Zencharim. Just FYI, that will come to pass in the future. I forgot that detail. Had you chosen the other guy that you found under the table, she is a secret Yuan-Ti who will sell you out.
Oh, wow.
To Rasmussen.
these under the table guides, man.
Is she married to Carl?
Oh my god.
No, Carl would, in Yuan-Ti's culture, Carl would have nothing to do with Solata.
Oh.
She's too low.
Too
Wow,
different.
that low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even too low for Carl. He's a working man.
Yeah, he's also married.
Yes, he's married. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually, what was the name of his? We came up with a name for his. What was it? Sally?
No. I think
What
it
the
was
heck was it?
Carla? No, that was too far. That's too
No.
far.
I thought
It
it was
doesn't
like Gilda
matter.
or something like that.
It doesn't matter, I guess, but we did have like a whole
Carl Snakeman canon.
backstory. Yeah.
No, that went deep. That was
It
like
was
20
really
minutes
deep,
of
yeah.
recording.
It was amazing. It was just like tears coming down everyone's face about completely off the rails. And it's like, yeah, this is
We never saw him again. That was it.
I actually thought he'd come back.
I did have him rolled up in the Fane of the Night Serpent, but you both kind of did like,
We just blew that place up and ran.
Yeah.
did like a blitzkrieg through the middle of it. And like, yeah, we're getting out.
Yeah, the most recent episode I listened to was you guys going into and getting out of the Thing of the Night Serpent.
When we killed like the night priestess or something like that, we just went like, everything's fine. She looked important.
She was.
All we did was destroy.
Yeah.
So it actually, one of those weird things, how the timeline worked out is that because your episode with Rasnisi happened first, and Rasnisi was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll authorize you doing this thing. So the lady you killed, I think it was Fenthaza, was the kind of like the polar, like, so Rasnisi was interested in about returning an army, and Fenthaza was about unleashing Dendar, the Night Serpent. And so there was a civil war happening inside the Fane of the Night Serpent, and you killed his main opposition.
We stopped the Civil War. Wow.
What didn't we do?
I know, right?
Just as a weird
Yeah, I didn't know that, but that's very Group A.
but let's jump back to Group B for the guides, because you chose the best guide. you could
possibly of all time.
yeah.
Oh my god, Iku MVP.
I mean, she was a druid. I was a druid.
She's actually not really a druid. 'Cause
She presents as a druid, right?
yeah.
Her thing reads as a drurid.
Yeah.
They're like, she's a druid. She's from the forest. She wants to protect the forest.
Yeah.
Franken was 100% in from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Because functionally she seems more like a warlock, but is just actually some NPC. That's how NPCs can work.
Just a demigod who can fly and is immune to all physical damage.
And it was a great healer. Yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah, and like Alethra just kind of went off and did that on her own. I had this fun plan set up for that episode where I was like, all right, before we came to record, I was like thinking about what I wanted to do and like what Alethra would be doing in the morning, and so I gave everybody jobs to do that in that session. So I was like, okay, we're gonna go here, you should go here, and like Mercy, you should go either like find us a ride out of here or find us a guide. And then Tom just didn't do that. And so I was like, well, I guess like I'll go see the guides. Because you guys went off to buy Dungar, because I was not there for buying Dungar.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I went off and I was gonna hire the albino dwarf whose name is
Musharib.
Musharib. Like that was my plan, was to hire Musharib.
Oh man.
But he was sitting there with Iku, who was way more vocal and like seemed better suited for what we were doing. And I was like, yeah, I'll bring her.
Good choice.
Yeah, it was great. And like Tom was like, wait, are you nuts? Like she works for Joe Ball. I'm like, yeah, she doesn't really like Joe Ball. Like she only gives him his due and doesn't seem that impressed by him. Yeah. So I thought it was a decent choice.
Turns out.
And it turns out it was the best choice possible. Oh my god, she saved her bacon like so many times. Immune to all damages. Well, almost all damages. Mm-hmm. So many spells, a greater restoration. Like having a greater restoration at level 2 is
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's what made me a man again.
Yeah.
two campaigns in a row.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of involuntary body changes on the set of the table, so
You did bring up Jobal, though, so I would like to talk about the Merchant Prince's relationships you've had, because Group A had kind of like a you weren't really there for Wakanga, but Group B had a big Jobal kerfuffle.
Yeah.
The Great Spider Heist. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And I did meet
Wakanga,
which was a cool like thing for me to listen to when we were at the beginning of the campaign, to see like, oh, they had the whole thing with Wakanga. I'm like, I gotta meet him, and he seemed lovely.
Who is Wakanga?
He was one of the other merchant princess,
okay.
who I used as library.
Yeah, he's got
okay.
He's essentially like a wizard merchant prince who has like a big, massive library full of magical items and stuff like that.
Cool.
Useful data.
I'm surprised Group A never asked him for magical items or anything like that.
Well, to be honest with you, we were just kind of like riffing it. If you notice, we decided to go to meet the Grungs for no reason.
Yeah.
We just had to, our guys like, where are we going? We're like, Grung Town.
Grung Town.
Yeah.
I feel like that was my influence, like the just being reckless. I really like looking back on it because again, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I never prepped. I didn't know what I was prepping for. I don't know the world. I don't know the lore. I don't know the species or what they're capable of. Like just completely going in blind. So my attitude for everything was just like, okay, like I just went with it. And I looking back, I mean, it could have been really bad. Now that I understand the concepts, or at least some of them, obviously there's still a lot I don't know, but
there's something to that Group A personality that just...
I think that vibe, man. I think that I feel like that was me. Like I brought that because you're not like normally that type of a player.
No,
right?
I play whatever the character is, to be honest with you.
Okay. So do you feel that like that was part of my influence of not giving a crap?
I think I was just the group and that was that group dynamic. We were very happy go lucky when I rolled up Milo's like character faults. It was like one of those like happy go lucky. I was like, all right, this is what it is.
Yeah.
It's so useful in a group, though. Like, there's a real danger that everyone gets to be like, okay, let's do this the most efficient way. And then it's like, oh, we're min-maxing all our stats, and like, oh, doing this stuff, and it's like, that's not how life is. Like, people do stupid things. You need someone who has the wrong thing every so often.
And you had some clue about Grung Lung Alung that, like, it was...
Sort of, like, it was, I think we had to pick a place, because the guides wouldn't leave without us picking a place, and I remember us picking Grung Lung Alung and then having to research it later or something. I don't know. It was...
I think we picked it specifically because of the name.
Yeah.
Because we thought it was funny.
But if you actually look at the map, and maybe John posted a picture of this, if you look at the map of our journey, Group A went as the crow flies to
you went straight down.
Straight down.
Like, we didn't waste any time.
Yeah.
And actually, funny story, when we were in the dungeon at the to the very end, I thought we were taking our sweet ass time. Like in my head, I just wanted to go. Where I was like, go. I don't want to examine crap. Like I just, I just want to go. I want to keep going. And then I found out that Group B, you were really taking your sweet time. And then when I found that out, I was like, oh, really? Because I thought we were slow.
Oh,
and it turns out comparatively, we were rushing the hell through. Like you guys would check out every nook and cranny, every room. We just skip stuff. We just kept going.
Skip entire floors.
Let's go down a level. Let's go down a level. And that was what we kept doing, And for me, I thought it was slow. So again, perspective is everything.
So let's talk about cobbler's tools.
Oh yeah, cobbler's tools were great.
Yeah, it was such a fun detail. I went really nuts creating a Elethra. I was on vacation. I was like, I'm creating another character for another campaign, and in the first 3 seasons, Vonda was my first character ever. I'd never built a character and played them before, and so this was like a chance to learn. And so I went a little bit nuts. I will admit, I wrote like a 12-page backstory.
Wow,
just far too much. But part of it was that like her parents were cobblers, and they were merchants, and she was an only child. And I had like all these like sort of fun details built out. Because everyone's an orphan in D&D, and I had
too many Dickensians.
Yeah, no one has a happy. Actually, I think House had a happy.
I had a very happy childhood, but I was like, I thought of myself as like the privileged blonde white girl who was only beginning to realize how privileged she was. That's kind of how I played her. Was just she had this very lucky upbringing, and then probably would have been. The type in high school that had everything, but was like, my life is so hard. And
why am I so
understands
persecuted?
me. Yeah. And so that's kind of how I played her. But no, she had a happy life.
But it's also, for me, it was a case of like, I knew that at level 3 I was going to take Battle Master, and then it came with Artisan's Tools. So I was like, what will make sense for this character to have? And I was like, oh, Cobbler's Tools. That seems fun and like not super useful.
What do cobblers use? Like one of those mallet
little hammer, a little knife,
some leather,
leather, like a sewing kit,
some glue and adhesive, I imagine.
Yeah. It's all like in the player's handbook, like what comes in it. cobbler's tools, and then it ended up being like they released Anathar's Guide, and there was all this extra stuff that tools did. I was like, oh, we could travel 10 hours.
Wow,
that's so cool.
Yeah, surprisingly helpful for
a jungle like traversal campaign, which is also very different than anything we'd done before. In all of the other campaigns we'd done, like traversing was not exactly hand waved away, but was somewhat just like, and you traveled from town to town.
I don't know. There was one particular travel
with a few very notable exceptions.
Yeah, because I think aside from like Wishgate and then like the Traveler's Road in the first season, I always get the feeling that like travel at higher up levels becomes more irrelevant to, because you can just teleport yourself somewhere, you can just hire a boat, hire an airship, make an airship,
make 2 airships.
the best part about the airship to me was realizing it so late in the game.
Yeah,
like we'd been carrying around this ink.
Yeah, for a long time.
While.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We could have done
They got it from Drungrungalung.
so much more. And it was only like because of the other airship. Like, wait a minute, we can make an airship? Like, I think had we not seen the crashed airship, we would have never came up with like having a flying apparatus to get us around. I don't think that would have never occurred to me on my own. Because again, I don't know the rules. I don't know how things work. So when we realized we could do that, that was a big epiphany for
That
me.
was ink you could just draw something and it appeared, is that right?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Draw an M1 Abrams tank.
They had essentially the way it works. They had like a limited supply of ink, but whatever they made, if it was a living creature, like 1 point of damage would like turn
Kill
it back
it.
to ink.
Okay.
Goaty.
Goaty.
And you couldn't make it the square footage value. So you, like the square, I think it was like either like 5 square feet or 1 square feet couldn't be greater than like 75 gold pieces worth of material. So you you make like some gold coins, but you couldn't make like a bank of gold coins type of thing.
Yeah.
But you also wouldn't have had a crew had you not discovered.
That's true.
No, it was like
We end up crashing anyways. It didn't really matter that we had a group.
we really didn't have that ship for very long.
No,
I was like seconds.
Yeah, 20
Yeah.
minutes of airtime.
That was actually the first time our luck changed.
Yeah.
That
But
was
it
like
didn't because we landed in that place with the language translator tablet.
oh right.
And the Chewinga.
Oh, yeah.
The Chewinga. Cute little Chewinga.
I'm so jealous of Shep's like background feature where you can just learn a language in a minute. Like
That was very handy.
oh, so OP compared to like I can like my character's like thing was if I don't know where a piece of information, I know where I might be able to find that piece of information.
I have a hunch.
That's not half as handy.
No.
Especially in the Tomb of the Nine Gods. Like, I know where I can find that. Oh.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near that. I'm nowhere near civilization.
One of my favorite Shep moments was when Lindsay realized that she didn't have to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like we were playing the game the whole time where like we were sleeping in shifts.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh, I just learned I don't have to sleep.
Yeah, she trances. You're not really aware of your surroundings
Yeah.
during a trance, though.
That was great.
So let's talk about the travel through the jungle. I thought the groups were going to kind of take like a east-west type of thing, but you guys were in the same time zone for the vast majority of it.
A lot of it, yeah.
Yeah, because you guys went to Hisari for Group B, and Group A went to Grungrungalung. Is it
Drunglungalung?
I can't remember anymore.
Drunglungalung.
Yeah,
Drunglung.
But one thing is cool. I mean, we both went by boat, but like you guys did a
river
traversal, or we took a boat to an inlet and then walked inland. Like we never, but we had our pack dinosaur, which was
Dungar was great.
so good.
So
oh,
we have to
man.
go back for him.
Oh yeah, there's
waiting for
There's
us.
so many loose ends.
Oh my god. If you guys got transported, that means he's just waiting there forever.
Yeah, no, it's
No, no,
really
we're coming back. We're
Yeah.
going back.
He was left well attended to.
yeah.
It'll be so sad though.
So that was cool listening to see like how different like your river travel was versus our pirate boat adventures, and then just traveling inland on foot for a long time.
Yeah, and it's a good thing you guys picked the ship that you did, because there was like your odds of encountering a pirate adventure on one of the slow boats was like 80%.
Oh wow.
Versus where it's like 85% you're just going to sail right by them. And like those pirates, like, we're going to sell you to the Yuan Tea. Enjoy that at level 2.
That would be very hard. I just got action search.
But yeah, so what were your thoughts going through the jungle of, let's start with Group A, because you guys probably had the rougher start and then kind of like the easier end towards Omu. What were your favorite moments, worst moments when traversing through the jungle?
I'll start with the worst moment. If you want to do the best moment? Worst moment for sure was the zombie crocodiles, because we like almost got pasted early in the campaign.
You almost lost a guide on that one.
Yeah.
That was a scary fight. That was probably our most deadly fight of the entire campaign, I think, like bar none.
Yeah, I think it was Lindsay saved flask of wine with like a critical hit,
Yeah.
bow hit underwater, hit the crocodile, and like it freed him, and he had like 1 hit point left when he came back up to the top.
Thanks, D&D physics.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if this was your best moment, but Dinosaur Day.
Oh, Dinosaur Day was great. Yeah, we just kept camping with dinosaurs.
The whole episode, this was, I'll summarize the episode in one sentence. We had a nice day and played with friendly dinosaurs. That was the day. That was the whole episode, was like, you bump into a dinosaur. He loves you. Pet the dinosaur. Hi, dinosaur.
Oh, Emily Brontosaurus.
Emily Brontosaurus was her name.
Yeah.
And like the whole day was just like literally lounging around, eating, resting, discovering new friends.
And that was right when you guys were like dragging around a corpse.
Yeah.
This is a very different campaign.
It was hilarious. That was like in some ways it was like the least action. I think that was probably like the least impactful episode. But for me, I had so much fun because I wasn't worried. I was like, today's a great day. It was just a great day. Nothing good, like nothing terrible happened, but it's not like we had riches fall on us either. It was just like a really nice, it's like you had a good camping day, but you also met a dinosaur. Yeah. That was really friendly. And you had a good time with that dinosaur, and then you were sad to part. Yeah, that was the day. That was the best part.
The funny thing is, because the Aldani Basin has like a ton of dinosaur encounters, but you just got all like
the good ones.
All the good ones. It's like, okay, well, I mean, like they can piss them off. You didn't. But, unlike Group B's first adventure with the Velociraptor attack. That
that was such a hard combat to listen to.
Yeah.
I was just like stressed out on the bus going, what is happening?
No, that was a real bad fight. Because Duran drops in the first round, as does Fenquin.
I think I went down in that fight. Yeah. That was tough.
That was a very, very tough fight, which was like only saved by the massive amount of hit points that Dungar had, and Iku, of course. Yeah, without Iku, like if we had Musharib on that fight, no way.
Can
like
you imagine like
dead.
Iku's like mentality going? I was like, crap, these guys suck.
Oh yeah,
not again.
Because also we had just made a deal with the Sea Hag, and she was like at the very edge of us like piecing out.
Another bookended point.
Yeah.
That's right.
Do you want to talk about the wonderful Agnes Wormwiggle?
Yeah, that. I think that episode is one of my favorites from the whole season, because it's like so much happens in that episode. Like we arrive on these shores, we see a hag. We're like, let's sneak around it.
Oh yeah, I sneak as the iguana.
Yeah, you get eaten by it. We like start combat. It seems to go sideways real fast. And then we try to make a deal with Agnes Wormwiggle, which is a decision that haunts us to this day, and all of us to this day.
Yeah. What was the deal we made? It was that.
Well, so Mercy was like, So there was a couple deals we made. Number one was like we're gonna gamble with Duran's life.
Yes.
Whether or not like we can like leave this combat encounter.
Worth it.
And Mercy was able to
lay on hands
on Duran.
Yes, to like give him the secret boost.
Yeah.
He cheated, right?
Yeah, we cheated her multiple times actually. Because then Duran tried to cheat her at dice. That kind of went okay.
Well, she wasn't going to cheat, but she was going to drop her because she has to have an illusion on. So she's going to change her horrifying visage. And if Duran had to run away the entire time, he couldn't finish the game. So ergo, if so facto, she gets to win.
Yeah, which I think he just like had a great charisma save on that.
Yeah.
So thank you, Dice, that day. And then Mercy like went into Agnes's like
underwater layer. Right?
Underwater layer.
Yeah, she was the only one who could hold her breath that long. If I remember correctly.
Because Mercy had the highest constitution.
Yeah, because people like went down and they realized, oh, this is far deeper than I thought. So like one person had to go up.
We all
and another person had to go up, and Mercy's like, nope, just me.
yeah. So I think I con of 16, which I did not have until the end of the campaign. I was a low con fighter for a lot of it.
Because I believe she was going to give you a map,
and she did. And so she told us where Hisari was. She confirmed that Yuan Ti were there. She told us about the Kirsabal, which we ended up visiting. She gave us a map to the Hanging Gardens, also, and like the Monkey Bridge, which we never ended up going to. But like the next 3 destinations we went to, we were told to about. We were told by Agnes Wormwiggle, and then of course she cursed us, and multiple hags now followed us around and bit like Duran's cheek and licked my eyeball.
Our DNA to clone us.
Yeah,
Such a different campaign.
Do you want to know what the because so her thing was she. Oh, I can tell you.
Yeah. You told us most of the things.
Yeah. So Agnes did not start off as a sea hag. She started off as a high elf, and then so she traded her greatest possession for immortality that turned her into a sea hag.
Right.
And the thing she gave up was her daughter.
Oh.
And the thing she's going to ask help for is like, if you can bring her daughter back for her, she'll pretty much grant you anything you want.
Oh.
So she was like, well, here's a group of adventurers. They've made it down this far. I'm going to try and keep them around. Right. So the idea was if one of them dies, she kind of has like some leverage over you, which is why when she shook Mercy's hand, I made it like
and gave her the bond.
Yeah. Well, it was more that I kept describing how humid it was in there, and that she took some sweat off of Mercy, and then traded that to the Sohn sisters, who she'd already had a gambling debt with, or they had a gambling debt with her. It's like, all right, you clone this thing, deliver it to this group. They're going to come to you eventually. She can't die under any circumstances, and then like the sea hag, the hag bond.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Crazy. Okay, and that's why she survived through the crazy fall.
Yeah.
Is that was their
Didn't keep her safe.
I really want to I have additional questions about this, but in case we ever return to these characters, I won't ask them. So many other questions. And then like,
you feel free. I may not answer them, but
so are they? So the question is, are those hags inside Clone Mercy?
Oh no, they're dead.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool. Right.
They're scared. They did not keep their end of the bargain.
Fair enough. And then like maybe this was more off camera, although it was definitely on camera. Agnes featured very large in our conversations about the game because Tom really wanted to bring Mercy back to life.
Yeah.
That broke some fourth walls.
Yeah. And I felt really bad about it. I really wanted to do that for him.
We were going to, and then we didn't.
We literally left her for you guys.
Yeah.
It's like this will be nice for them.
Yeah.
And then you blew it up.
No, we met her, so we don't. She's not with us. I was a level 1 nothing character. But actually, do you want to reveal what you were going to do had we gone to go resurrect Mercy?
Oh yeah, it was going to be the so there's this ritual that hags can cast called the ritual of soul capturing. So essentially you sacrifice a living creature, humanoid creature, and you trap their soul in a soul gem just before the creature dies, because hags, like, souls are like currency, food, everything to them. Mm-hmm. So they've found out a way. So essentially you capture the soul before the soulmonger catches it, and you put it in a crystal. It kind of works like a battery, and then you jam it in their forehead. And they essentially become the Walking Dead for, like, they're fully sentient, have all their spells, have all their abilities, but they don't need to eat, breathe, sleep, or drink anymore. They're immune to poison, disease, but
they rot?
They rot it was their constitution modifier times like 7 or 8 days before they start to decay.
Oh. And
then every day they decay like a little. They decay their constitution attribute. I may be getting it wrong, but it's a slow decay.
Yeah.
And they get undead constitution as a zombie. So like if you ever get something that will bring you to 0 hit points, you do a constitution save versus the damage +5. And if you make it, then you don't die. But as soon as you hit 0 hit points, the crystal breaks and you corpsify again.
So Tom's probably glad we didn't bring Mercy back.
Yeah, it would have been so awful. Also disappointing.
Poor Tom.
Healing magic does not work on zombies either.
Oh, so it's just it wouldn't work.
Yeah,
well.
No, that would have been a like wah.
Could still level up, could still use hit dice to heal, but aside from that, it would have surprisingly enough would have been actually probably the best thing for the jungle.
Yeah.
Because I was going to offer that Agnes is going to teach you, Fenquin, how to do the ritual.
For additional costs, I'm sure.
For finding her daughter.
Okay.
But then you have to like kill like a humanoid creature the entire time you want to recharge the battery.
Yeah, that would be a no. That would be a definite no.
Another forcing Trevor to killing people scenario.
Yeah. Frankly, Iku support. Iku support was way more valuable than Tom's feelings.
Yeah.
Oh, we're sorry. Tom.
Ouch.
Also, I think it's good that Tom learned something about involuntary changes to one's character.
That's true. Fair point.
Yeah, I was not super sympathetic in that moment.
Let's talk about another adventure that you guys kind of crossed over paths with in the Aldani Basin, which is everyone's favorite or least favorite person, Valinda Shadowmantle.
Yeah.
She was a nice lady.
Snakes lady.
Nice
We
lady.
had a great
Oh,
time.
is that the lich that chased us and tried to kill us?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. We like slept in her house.
Yet
we,
again,
read her
we had a
books.
slumber party and read books. That's what
Really?
we did with her. Yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah.
Actually, the best part about her was when I think it was the next episode, we bumped into another group,
Party, yeah.
another party, and with complete sincere innocence, like we didn't want to, associate with them, but we wanted to try and help them, and so we suggested they go to her place because we had a good time. Like we had a very positive experience.
And she
Killed them all.
Yeah, I in fact choked on their stench. I was poisoned by the stench of their corpses.
Sorry about that. It was with the best of intentions because we had such a lovely time with her.
Group A is chaos theory. That's basically it.
But I gotta put my hat off to you there, Brendan, because you knew who she was based on your intense nerdity.
Yes, 100%. I had a fourth wall for that entire campaign so hard.
Well done, because you did not let up that you knew that in fact, this was very bad news.
But it wasn't. That's just it.
Like,
That's the house effect.
Yeah. If you didn't have True Sight, everything was fine. She was quite cordial and nice to people.
Yeah.
No, she was great to us. Yeah.
Although imagine because we had flown up in there and we're just going through her things without her permission, that would have been a less nice meeting, no matter what.
Yeah. No, we were very polite.
Although we both had bad incidents on the.
Yeah. That's where the bats live.
It's like, oh, Duran's going to do it as well. Yep. What is about elves sticking your head into trees and finding bats?
Elves are Winnie the Pooh. It's a thing.
It's always been true.
But that meeting, or that infiltration of Valinda, the Heart of Ubtao, was actually proved to be quite game-changing.
Oh my god, yeah. The ending of our campaign would not be the same without that. In fact, we probably would have died had we not visited Valinda Shadowmantle.
Yeah.
So yeah, the way that we were able to blow up the tomb was that Alethra found 2 spell scrolls of Arcane Gate in Valinda Shadowmantle's books while we were snooping through her information. And that is what I had to cast to stop a sucking vortex portal from killing us all. I casted it into that vortex, and then it blew up the tomb.
Yeah, it's basically putting a black hole through an arcane gate causes a big boom boom.
We've all been there, right? Yeah. How was it to sort of I guess wrestle with Alethra stealing essentially?
She was off on the run.
Just with a bad crowd. Yeah.
She didn't know whose it was, and had there been a discussion of this is my property, give it back to me, that would have been fine. But there was no time for that discussion.
Well, you also had a very key person or key people with you, with Artis Simber and Dragonbait with you as well. Because she just walked in and the way you guys had yourselves positioned inside her chambers. Artis was right next to the teleportation pads. She walked in and was like, whoa, I haven't seen you in 300 years.
Yeah. And then Iku sees through her illusion and says, Lich, and then we gotta get the heck out of Dodge.
Yeah.
Because she uncorked a disintegrate and a finger of death on him.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And she hit one of us too, I think, with something, but maybe just Artis.
I know her focus was on Artis.
Yeah.
So.
Good old
Your main
handsome
squeeze?
Artis.
She was a nice lady.
That's what we kept saying too.
Yeah.
What
If
a
you're
nice
polite to her,
lady.
she's nice to you. You know.
Yeah, you guys are cozy with the Thayans. What is it with this podcast and being cozy with the Thayans?
So cozy with the grungs, cozy with the thanes, cozy with the liches.
Yeah.
Well, we weren't cozy. We earned the grung respect, though.
That's true.
That wasn't completely fluky. That was a lot of campaign effort on our part.
We also became-
Looking back, that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
I mean, we did get the ink out of it and the bitchin' tattoo,
Yeah,
but
bitchin' tattoo came in handy.
it did come in handy.
Yep.
But aside from that, really, I look back and I'm like, why did we go to that much effort?
know.
That was a huge amount of effort to get that far.
I think it was like our first thing that we could actually feel like we could accomplish because we had no direction at that point.
Yeah.
It was just like, let's
We
finish this.
staged a god,
Yeah.
for goodness
Yeah,
sakes.
it
Like,
good day.
that was...
It a
Yeah.
good day.
Who eventually was possessed by, or Alethra was possessed
See,
by.
Yeah.
I was super paranoid that was going to come to bite us in the ass when we actually met Nang Nang in the tomb. I thought Nang Nang was going to be super pissed that we like impersonated her, and then she was like, "Yeah, no, I just want."
Nang Nang
friends."
doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nang Nang didn't know.
Well, she would know the memories of that. I
Oh,
suppose.
yeah, that's true.
But
Yeah.
you know, there's bigger fish to fry.
It never came up. She just wanted our shiny things.
Yeah, who possessed Nang Nang in your group?
Nang Nang possessed Shep,
And then me.
and then you, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was very resistant.
Yeah, well,
Lindsay played it up way better than I did. I was very resistant.
At least you didn't have Pop Bazzottle in your head.
Oh. You didn't say it that way too, did you? Or-
I was
Yeah.
required by Pop Bazzottle,
Oh,
by
but-
Pop Bazzottle to say it that way. Ah,
That's amazing. Yeah, that was also our influence.
correct
Sorry. Yeah, that is the correct pronunciation.
yeah, that was great.
That's old Omuin, yeah.
Yeah.
I also figured Papa's kind of like a Julia Child. So it's like, oh yes, it's a Papa's
But don't you just feel better saying it that way?
that's true.
It's a
It was
fun
fun
thing
by
to
the end.
say. Yeah.
When I was calling John on it was a lot of fun at the end. I was like, don't you mean Pop Bazzottle?
Oh man! At the very end, there was so many gods and so many different things going on. I was like, I don't remember who has who.
Oh, Group
the
A like
voices
24
and the-
NPCs at one point.
Oh, well, for Group B, because everyone had a god,
yeah.
and then you had Yaka.
Oh, fucking Yaka.
Oh, Yaka.
So
So angry about
You
Yaka.
still have Yaka?
Oh, yes. Yaka's
yeah,
with
he's
me
Yaka
until
forever.
a wish spell's popped. So you guys don't know about this. So Alethra has a lot going on in her brain right now. Not only is Nang Nang there, because I had Nang Nang in my head, and I'm just like, everything is mine now. We saw this like golden skull sitting on a pedestal, and I had a faster dex roll than Durand, and so now a cursed skull that is the dead jester of the old Omuan society
It was the worst hacked stand-up comic ever.
Fantastic.
lives in both my brain and floats next to Alethra at all times.
And speaks jokes that all of the party can hear.
Yeah.
Oh.
John did a very good job role-playing Yaka.
Wow.
it's essentially just think of all the best dad jokes you can come up with.
But it's just like... In the next campaign, like, I'm gonna meet her, like, Count Von Strahd, and, like, there will be Yaka going, like, Yaka!
Oh, I hear this guy sucks. Vampires suck.
Yaka. This is a delicate negotiation with a very dangerous vampire.
Ooh, negotiating with the grungs. Those guys are slimy. Am I right? Am I right?
You are right. You are literally right.
So speaking of allies, I think I want to move the conversation over to exploring through Omu. Unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about that happened in the jungle. Favorite moves.
I specifically liked us running away from the was it Gorgon, the
Oh, the Medusa.
Medusa?
girl,
Oh,
yeah.
right,
when we
yeah.
had like
Rame,
yeah.
we're riding Dungar at high
Yeah.
speed down that river as she's chasing after us. That was like
Yeah.
The Dukes
best.
of Hazzard's escape.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
And then I love the heist episode where we go back and steal the rose from her.
Oh yeah, we had some good heists.
Yeah. That was basically just two, but like those were
Yeah,
two
two
awesome
good
heists.
heists.
Yeah, two good heists.
You guys actually you came because the closest in daytime you guys came was 2 days. And depending on travel, you guys almost went to Group A almost went to Nangalore as well. And then you saw like, oh, the Hard Vooptal, let's Flying Stone, let's go there. But I remember going like, oh, am I gonna have to like do like a crossover episode now because you're both gonna end up in Nangalore at the same time? Like, is someone gonna come across a statue of like another group member?
Almost. A lot of people turned to stone that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did see some traces of you guys occasionally. Yeah. At the end, towards the end, we started to, right?
Yeah.
There was like the broken salt circle.
The crashed airship.
Crash airship. RSVP.
No, they didn't see
Orbix.
No?
No.
They never got to Can.
Oh, they
Never
never got
got
to
to Can.
Can.
No, we skipped that.
Oh, we skipped Can.
We skipped Can,
It
yeah.
was Can.
Oh my god.
Brendan, care to explain what can was?
Can was a can of whiskey that Milo had on the airship that he anthropomorphized with a smiley face, and then treasured after that. And then we had to leave him in one of the
Sort of like Wilson and Castaway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
okay.
but we
Yeah.
did like a switcheroo sort of thing where we left him for you guys to find in one of the tombs. As a
So you would have
prize.
opened the tomb and there just would have been a smiling can.
Yeah, it would have been very confusing. We did it purposely so that you could find it and get confused.
Although, would it have been there, John, considering the cleaning crew? Cleaning crew?
It would have been there with a cube inside it, which means you'd have to have equaled the weight of the cube plus a tin can to not set off the trap.
He's learning his power.
Yeah, we skipped 2 of the tombs because Rasnisi just gave us a bunch of cubes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you need
Sack of many cubes.
we're lousy with cubes here.
Yeah, so they essentially said they'd solve the death curse, and Rasnisi no longer having any threats to his life from people with inside the Fane. It's like, great, what do you need? Solve it, get out.
Oh, and Luther wasn't there to meet her nemesis that he.
Yeah, that was a fun crossover episode too.
That's funny because we got back and we're like, oh, we met Rasnisi and gave us all the cubes. You're like,
Yeah.
you met Rasnisi?
Yeah.
Wait, yeah. What? We just told him what we were doing. You're like, you just told him what you're doing?
Yeah, because it was Ro and Fenquin who got
Fenquin.
kidnapped.
What have you guys been doing? And we're like, you have the wrong adventurers here. You really need our party scribe. I think we're here to find you. I can't remember.
Yeah, and then I think it was Ro said it out loud, like, oh yeah, we're here to solve the death curse. And it was
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
oh, well, things are changing now. Come with me.
I think we couldn't lie, right? It was one of those things where we couldn't lie.
Yeah,
We had
you
to,
were charmed.
Yeah, you have a suggestion spell.
Yeah,
or
so we had to
something.
say things that were true that were not the thing we wanted to say.
Yeah.
Which was fun. That's always my favorite stuff.
Oh yeah, the double zone of truth episode.
Oh yeah.
And Jeff had to say that she actually liked people.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I like that episode a lot.
You guys actually shared that. You've been in that same room before, the jail cell room, because there was surprisingly a lot of public love for Mung. Everyone seemed to love Mung the Goblin.
Mung is like the one character you guys never saved, which is very peculiar for you guys.
Oh, Mung!
We didn't vibe with Monk.
Yeah, that's so weird because Mung
Mung
was the-
annoyed me.
He was the best!
Typical Tabaxi.
Like Group A was like secretly evil. We just, like a lot of our moral decisions are like, oh, these people eat people. It's probably fine. Like that's their culture. They just eat culture.
yeah.
That's how we justified it.
If it wasn't their
Prime
culture, you're like-
directive.
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are very much if it's in their culture, it's fine.
Yeah.
We're not going to judge cultures here, but you should in D&D.
We're
There
gonna
are evil societies.
we're gonna release a serpent that's gonna devour all of this reality and then move on to the next one.
That's what they believe, though.
Actually,
very nice of you.
the way it ended up is that because Dendar's lair is underneath the volcano just outside of Omu, and the thing to unlock the gate, which is guarded by the fire newts and fire elementals, is inside the Tomb of the Nine Gods, which is now in Barovia,
Oh, so he's permanently sealed in there.
unless someone gets that thing back,
Yeah.
or
Okay.
there's another way to do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it always involves the sphere of annihilation.
Doesn't it always?
I like the jungle hex crawl quite a lot.
Yeah.
To sum it all up, like it was neat to have like a weatherman in Fenquin.
Yeah, that was-
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
You should have delivered like a weatherman.
But your descriptions were always fun. Like you would find water and like have a little show for it. It's very cool.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
very, very jealous of that.
That was one of my favorite parts because I'm like, oh, it has like the components of the spell, so I should just use that to say how I do it, right? Like it's like we don't have to necessarily carry around cranberries,
No.
but it says that I use cranberries, so I'm like, oh, I have a bag of dried berries. I'll turn those into fake creatures.
It's also a jungle. It's not hard to find berries out in the.
That's true.
Yeah,
Especially not for Fengen.
it's true.
You could just ask the berries. Berries, where are you? Please rustle.
Russell.
Russell
did,
the berry.
Penguin did talk to a lot of plants on that journey.
Yeah, it's pretty helpful to have speak with plants and animals in a jungle. Like,
That was way.
Plentiful.
Yeah, if you had that for Storm King's Thunder, it would have been way less useful.
oh, is that all like rocky?
Yeah, like a
mountains?
lot of rocky mountains and fortresses.
I could have found some lichens to talk to.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
There's nature everywhere.
Yeah. I also want to talk about the other NPC we met in Omu, who also was a fan favorite, was Orvix.
Orvax, rest in peace.
Pour one out.
Our man.
RSVP Orvix.
Yeah, I just still wanted the Top Gun, the dagger off of the airship at the end of the campaign, but I forgot to.
Aww.
Yeah, that was one of those moments as a DM. It's like, oh no, I feel bad. I loved Orvix. Orvix was great. Like, he was a fun character to
We
play.
were such a dick to him too at the start. When you re-listen to the episode, I was like, why are we such a dick to this guy? There's no reason.
He was literally, a wall collapsed on him when a fireball went off, and his group thought he was dead, so they left him there. You free him, like, oh, this guy's an asshole.
We were suspicious because we had been bit a lot at that point.
And Shep was threatened by his knowledge of things.
Yeah. So we just wanted to make sure he was truly cool before we let him aboard.
I was listening to the episode, and I when it first came out, and I messaged Brandon. I was like, "Oh, I like this new Orvix character," and you were like, "Oh man, too soon. He just died. He died right today." I was like, "Oh."
Like super dead.
Yeah.
like the deadest dead.
I was really attached to that character. It was very upsetting.
That was sad.
Yeah. That was the first disintegration, followed by a fireball blast. It's like, well, those ashes are gone.
Yeah. But yeah, the city of Omu was exciting to finally get there once. Once you sort of heard about it for so long, and like traveling, and I thought we were gonna beat you there at one point, and then no,
The airship
you made an airship. And it turned out our wings weren't as good as we thought they were either.
Yeah, that was a DM mistake. It's like, oh, they get to fly. That's like 60 feet. Looking like, oh, it's 30 feet. Oops.
Yeah, is that right?
You just fly at the speed of walking.
But like without having to like go around things.
Yeah, you avoid a lot of the troubles in the jungle if you can just fly right over top of them.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you guys find Omu? Because that was a weird one. As a DM, I was a bit confused about how to present things, because it felt kind of like a dungeon crawl, but it also felt kind of like exploration, and a couple of good reoccurring characters, like the King of Feathers, for example, I thought was one of those things. Like, how does this guy work into the city of Oak? Oh no, he's just like that omnipresent threat that can just like bamf, hello, bamf, away.
Oh, I was so proud when we like dismantled him. It was good. It was an awesome fight. I think there was like multiple crits in it. Very exciting. Not the fight that you had with him though.
Oh, we had a lot of cannons.
But he literally came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like
That was one of my favorite moments.
Yeah.
Was fishing for T-Rexes with a goat.
Cody.
A goat with one hit point.
Which immediately blew up in our faces.
Oh, that's one of those gotta keep a poker face.
We didn't know he could teleport. That's what screwed us over. It would have worked otherwise. I didn't even know things could teleport in general. Like when it happened, I was like, "This is a thing here." Like, I didn't know you could do that in D&D. So had I known that, perhaps I wouldn't have gone T-Rex fishing.
As a bonus action too, it's great.
Very few T-Rexes can teleport. So
Very few things can teleport as a bonus, though.
Yeah.
Also, that is broken.
It was a hard lesson to learn.
Yeah, it's an enemy. It should be
I
broken.
really like the building to building exploration. Like, you go pry open a building, you find out what's inside, and like,
Oh,
could be
your
anything.
treasure rolls, man. I don't think I think it was like maybe 3 times you guys rolled less than an 80.
we just
the
kept getting
gem
great
storeroom
treasure.
right next to the jewelry store that just said gem storage. Right next to we just never went inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually wish we had pulled a few more encounters in the end, because there were more good loot or more good encounters. Either way, that would have been fun.
Yeah.
The Assassin Vine fight is one of my favorites. Also, that we had, and that was just like, oh, didn't mean to have that happen, and now we're all just being eaten by plants.
I was actually worried that was going to happen because Tom's character got thrown into the top floor of a building by the King of Feathers. Like, that's going to trigger what's in this thing. It's like, oh, it's more treasure, of course.
Yeah, no problem. And I was so happy when you guys met Ander at AAA, which is what a great name for his adventuring company. I was sad that we never got to see him one last time, but I'm glad you guys, at least eventually turned on him.
That's another one I was sitting on for the longest time because Lindsay had finished her backstory like the day before you guys started recording, And then, because I was trying to come up with your counterpart, Anders. It's like, oh yeah, well, he'll be an inventory party, and Shalzar will be part of it. Like he'll be like their guide, scout, rogue type of guy. So it's always like the mysterious like guy wrapped up in purple leather, because I always assume dark elves are just wrapped in like purple or indigo or something like that. I can't see the sun or anything like that. But I was just like always, and like every time he said his name, and then he said, oh yeah, I'm listening to the podcast. I'm like, oh, is she gonna know that her nemesis is in Group B's counterparty? And then she just kept it quiet. I was like, okay, she's playing this cool. And then the big reveal, I was like, I completely forgot I had it.
Yeah. That's the episode I just listened to. I think it's the most recently one that released. And she's just like, I have no idea who you are, bro.
Which is like the perfect thing to say to a nemesis. Like, all right.
It was great because it was very suspenseful for me, because I didn't know what the backstory was. And then, John as himself said something like
I think I said like, is this part of your backstory? And you forgot, and she was like, maybe?
Yeah. And then I got excited because I was like, what's gonna happen now? Yeah, that was a fun one for me.
Yeah, that was probably one of the better episodes that we recorded, just because everything, like I felt bad at one point because like everything was happening at the same time, because
it was a lot.
Yeah, the twins finally revealed what they've been doing the entire time.
I didn't take that well.
Yeah. So just as a catch up, the twins working for the Zentarim saw the jewelry store uncork a whole bunch of treasure and like, hey, Zentarims, we know a place. Come on in. Open up so they came in with a group of adventurers, put down some teleportation circle runes outside, and then just once, they tell two friends, and then they tell two friends, and so on, and so on.
A lot of leaks in that secret society.
Which led to our taxi service, which is how the season ends.
What?
It's true.
Yeah, we decided to form an OMU to Portian's our taxi service using our airship.
Oh, wow. Lucrative.
Artist Simber might have something to say about that.
We don't know him.
But I like that your Tabaxi guides were like, oh, you guys know like an Artist Simber by any chance? And you took like his daughter's like teleportation scrolls.
Yeah. Everyone's looking for artists.
Yeah. It was a good time. So reckless.
So let's jump into the Tomb of the Nine Gods. Two very different crawl styles. I think was I talking with you and Lindsay? I was talking with somebody where Group A has done something I've never seen before in like a lethal dungeon, where they found the way to beat it was 0 risk assessment. Just plow. If you see it, if it looks like you should touch it, don't touch it.
Down a level.
Yeah, that was it.
If you see a doorway, don't go in it.
Yeah.
We found what we thought were keys, and then we just kept collecting those keys and then going down a level.
Yeah.
And then avoided almost every room in the dungeon.
We tried to avoid any sort of issue at all, like anything.
We noped so many things. Like remember with the eyes for the beholder, and we're like, you have to collect all the eyes. We're like, nah.
And I was like, I have 4. That's good. And then we went
down a level.
Yeah. There was
ain't bad.
Well, that's why when we met, oh my gosh, why can't I remember her name?
Oh, Keshma.
Keshma, thank you. When we were Keshma was someone we
you met a Dao, which is just essentially an earth elemental genie.
Yes, and she was in a bottle.
Yes, as they love.
And as per my style, I didn't want to open the bottle. I really didn't. Like I was doing anything to cause shit. Like, but they wanted to open it up, and it ended up working out in our favor tremendously. It was like one of the few times we actually did something, and it actually worked out. So
I think everything worked out.
Yeah, well, no, it really did. It really did. But I mean, while in the tomb, that was a very lucky break, because of all the things we could have tampered with, we got her, and we got very lucky.
Yeah. Also, because it was like really seconds after losing Orvex.
Yeah, it was seconds. Like, it was
seconds after we got a better NPC out of it.
Yeah.
And I think
RSVP Orvex.
I think it was Brendan said in the hallway as we're coming back, it's like, man, it's not like we're going to find a wish spell in the next hallway. And it's like, you are going to find a wish spell in the next hallway.
I could really use that wish spell, by the way.
Yeah, it was. I just wanted to get to the goods.
Yeah.
Well, that played a key role for the Sohn sisters down in the last room with Mercy, because they knew who Keshma was. They didn't know she expended her wish spell yet, but they were terrified of her. They were like,
what wish did you do?
We didn't do anyway. She had used her wish to help build the tomb.
Oh.
She'd already been expended.
Yeah, so she can replenish it, but she hadn't done that yet. So we couldn't. We basically made a deal with it. We would get her wish spell if we helped her
defeat a Serac.
Yeah, defeat a Serac.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah,
It was a good deal.
well, we never met a Serac. We just busted his shit and left.
Yeah.
We meet him briefly, and he pantsers us.
Oh, that is Serac.
Yeah, he does.
Oh man,
that is a Chris Perkins special. Because when the Tomb first came out, someone said, "Hey, so Serac's spell list, he can cast like these at-will spells as legendary actions for free, but he's got Arcane Lock and Knock. Why does he have those things?" Like, well, Arcane Lock is in case your party tries to run away, you can just lock the door in front of them, and Knock is to undo all their flies mid-combat. No practical effect; it just embarrasses them.
Yeah.
It's like my only chance I'm going to get to do this. Everyone's flies are coming undone.
so good.
So what happened to
Yeah,
you guys?
At the end?
Yeah, what was your last...
Do you really want to know?
I do want to know.
Actually, before we get into that, I want to talk about, because the one room you guys shared was the Hog's Head.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, guys.
Our kick-ass jackets.
Yeah, that caused us a great deal of pain and suffering.
But we got nice
almost died.
jackets.
I nearly died.
I
For fashion.
I had 88 hit points, and I went down to 8. And had I not found that aura of vitality, I would have died. I would have had my
Suffer
head.
for fashion, Miles.
My head would have been crushed, and my backup character would have had to been revealed.
Fashion
Who also
is
would have been
danger.
so dope.
fashion is
But you did find a refugee from Group A, though.
That's true. You guys left that Chewinga behind.
Yeah, we did. I knew
need
about
to.
that, but it was like Shep's person's. I didn't want to mention it in case like she just like so it would be like her journey, but then she totally
We
forgot.
forgot.
So I was like, all right, I guess we're not talking about the chewing anymore.
I didn't even really realize we left the choice.
Yeah,
This is new information to me. So
Essentially got stuck between the teeth when Shep got crunched.
And so it had been crunched for like forever, like just being eaten for weeks. Well, a week anyway.
oh, that's terrible.
also, did it sort of hurt you a little bit to know that AAA made it to Omu before you?
I mean, that tracks. They had a head start.
Poor Chewinga.
So
Topanga.
So Group A,
Topanga,
Topanga the Chewinga. So share what your final fight encounter was, or your final the last little bits.
We kept going down a level until we got to the Gears of Hate, and then we like tried the first combination we could think of, and that was the right combination. And we went outside, and there was like a creature that his personality is randomized, and we just got the personality that's like, oh hey buddy,
And then I gave him a ball
to play with.
Oh, this is the giant monster thing.
And then we went down these stairs, and Milo went down first and lost all of his equipment in some sort of like acid stuff or like acid mist.
It was actually just a magical effect in that hallway that anything that wasn't magical just decayed instantly.
Yeah, so I got Milo got naked again, so we had to paint him new clothes, and then we decided to bypass all the hallways, and we went into the main room with the hags, and the hags are just like, hey, we can just open the door for you if you just like leave us the fuck alone. And we're like,
because they were scared of
and we're just like,
Keshma.
Genie. Oh.
all right, and then we're just like, should we save Mercy? And we're like, nah.
So we'll leave her some mirrored pajamas.
Yeah, we give her some weird pajamas
to keep
stay
her warm.
To keep her warm.
I believe the deal was because you'd have to go do some trials to open up because the
do
locks
6
have little
trials,
plates in front of them. So you had to do the trials to open up the place. And they said, if you don't touch her and leave her alone, we'll open the door for it. Like, we'll open the plates for you and put the keys in, and away you go.
Yeah, and then we just said, can we give her pajamas?
Yeah.
And they said, sure.
Those pajamas must be. I totally thought it was some kind of illusion creature pretending to be Mercy because the mirror. I'm like, oh, that's like obviously some sort of shape shifting creature that has. That's why it has mirrored pajamas.
Nope. Episode 1, mirrored pajamas.
I brought it back around. Yeah.
And then we fought the God of Death, and that was then after that we met up with the real Dragon Bait, and then we went home.
The real dragon bait.
Yep.
Wait, what?
Yep. Yeah, there's more than one.
Uh-huh.
So the dragon bait we met wasn't the real dragon bait.
Well, we've been talking about clones so much.
Oh, he was a clone dragonbait?
They to complete the ritual, they need to sacrifice the pure soul on that reality. So they'd captured Dragonbait like months ago.
Oh, so we met a clone of dragonbait.
You made a clone of Dragonbait.
Wow.
So weird.
And then we started an air taxi service.
Air taxi,
The end.
Yeah, see, in our campaign, we collapsed this black hole into some sort of crazy supernova that transported us into another dimension.
After dragging your friend's corpse around.
Yes, after carrying our friend's corpse for several weeks, having to cast spells on it so it wouldn't smell too bad.
Oh my god.
Ours just ended in a 80s sitcom.
Record scratch. You're probably wondering how I got here.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like basically, actually, well, I guess I'll listen to it in a second. Well, a few weeks rather. So like, what was the God of Death fight like?
It had an aura that was like really punishing, and so Kashma tanked it for a long time, and I just Milo blinked every single round.
Oh, you
Like,
got to use Blink finally.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited for you.
And we
had
just like
strategies.
stacked. We stacked.
I used my
Wall of Light.
the wall of
We
light.
used Wall of Light.
Yeah.
I just like spammed guiding bolts, and we used spirit weapon, or rather like the holy weapon on Shep's bow.
Oh, yeah.
So that she got 48 extra
Whoa.
damage,
Oh, man.
and specifically
The Atropal was so the Atropal had vulnerable radiant,
Yeah.
but also had like insane regen. So essentially, anytime it did damage, it took that damage back to hell.
yeah, and that dealt it made the weapon magical and do radiant damage. So it was like we just blasted the thing.
Yeah, so-
Well
So
done.
it was getting hit by Shep's sneak attack plus the 48, and then 86 from the radiant, and then the 46 from guiding bolt.
Yeah.
Every
round,
turn.
Yeah,
Oh my
we
God.
would have had a real hard time in that because we did not deal radiant damage at all.
Turns out Group A was the one best equipped in the end.
Who knew?
Although you guys did find a rather important item in the dungeon itself off of Farthington Harrington
Yeah.
the third.
Oh, the bullets.
Yeah, we found a gun that can kill a Zerak.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can do that one day.
I was very nervous for the last fight.
Yeah, I had no idea what the hell was
Like
going to happen.
audibly nervous. Like if you listen to it,
Oh, yeah?
like I was myself. Like I was terrified. Yeah. Because I really didn't want us to die. Because I knew I would have been actually emotionally upset had
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
perished. And I didn't want that to happen. So I kind of lost all logic in that fight, quite honestly.
It's a very special feeling when your
I was
D&D
scared.
character
I was
is in
shocked.
peril.
Yeah, I was
Oh, yeah.
shocked how much I cared.
Oh, yeah.
I was really surprised how much I cared. I didn't think it would be that emotional for
Yeah,
me.
you spent like a year
Yeah,
building up this thing.
literally
right?
a year. Yeah,
And you're like, oh, now I gotta go back to like start over and think about new spells and stuff.
yeah, and it was very emotional.
Well, especially because going into a boss fight with 3 characters is a terrifying concept as a more experienced D&D player. It's like,
Well,
oh shoot,
Yeah.
3 characters.
But I don't know any better, so
Yeah.
3 characters in a genie, though.
it's true. But one character goes down, it's a whole ball. It's like a snowball.
Well, especially
effect,
if you go down.
Yeah,
as the
that's why I
healer.
blinked.
Yeah.
yeah, we needed him.
Yeah, because
Evasion tags.
that aura effect went off at the start of its turn, and you were always in another realm when that was happening.
It was good.
Oh,
I
that's
enjoyed
lucky.
it.
Yeah.
I played a very different cleric than Brendan's cleric for 20 levels, and so like hearing what the trickster cleric did was super cool. Like,
Yeah, it was a
I
super
was-
fun cleric.
Yeah, I was so different than what I got to do, which was very cool to see how like different the like schools of magic are for them.
All I really wanted to do desperately was to fight the King of Feathers again because I wanted to use polymorph, blink, and mirror image so that he had to fight 4 teleporting T-Rexes. That's all I wanted. I wanted a T-Rex fight.
You did have a very significant moment inside the tomb, though, for Aijin's tomb.
Yeah, Milo found religion. It was that was excellent though. Thank you, John, for making that entire story arc work for me. So I appreciate that.
That's the one regret I have of the tomb blowing up is that so when you come to Aijin's tomb, there's like a portal you can look through, and it does like a replay of the last people who are inside the tomb.
Oh yeah.
So Group A got to see a dwarf come in, step on the wrong plate, and then get like devoured by insects and like skeletonized by it, and drop down the ground. And it was going to be if Group B went up to the portal, it'd be everything that Group A did, where you see like Milo like essentially like walks in, the door closes behind him, and like Ben like had that legit look of like, oh shit, I'm here by myself. But then they figured out what the puzzle was, and it like took like 20 minutes per step as he's just like sitting there going, yells something out that you can't hear. Then he jumps to the next tile and the next tile and the next tile. And he's just like this halfling jumping around, and then everyone comes in.
Cool.
And loots the skeleton corpse.
Yeah, and I got a Rod of Wonder I never got to use.
Oh no. Yeah, we actually did not get to see much of the tomb in the end. We only really did 2 levels. Because then Iku got teleported into the trash room.
And then we all decided to go after her.
You're welcome for all the things in the trash room, by the way.
That's all we made up.
That might end up actually being super easy because Iku, once again, MVP'd, knocked out one of the creatures in 1 hit, and we're fine.
Yeah.
Like, that being a real anticlimactic fight.
Yeah. Well, when I first looked, I was like, oh, this is going to be trouble. And then I started to look at the stats, like, oh, sloths don't have any resistance to poison. Oh, this guy is... So the way that room works is that anything that tries to teleport out ends up in that room, and there's a OTL eating all the corpses. And the levers, if you pull the left... So essentially, it's got 2 levers it's got like a green devil skull face. It's got 2 levers, one coming out of each nostril, and the devil skull face, the mouth is closed and the eyes are closed. And if you pull the left one, the mouth opens up and you get sucked in, and you pull the right one, eyes open up and get teleported back. But if you pull one, then it switches over. So in my hand cannon, the shadow demon went down, pulled the left lever, and because it can like phase through stone, it just like stood somewhere else, wait for the thing to come down. It's like, and when the slot came, he's like, don't pull the levers because you're gonna get sucked in.
Right.
And Roe be Roe.
Yeah, and then Ro just pulled one of the levers without even really examining it. So
yeah, and then we almost all got sucked into a black hole
several times.
It was a DC 11 dex save, and you guys tanked a lot of them. Like just
my dex is 0. Like,
yeah.
So I was rolling 50-50 on that every time.
We blew all of our inspirations.
Yeah,
trying not to fall out. And like that was only 1 round. I was like, we have 9 more rounds of this. I guess I am blowing this thing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally Dice Tell the Story, because that was a percentile dice roll.
Yeah.
And I actually listened to it last night. It was like rolled a 93 on. I was like, oh, that's got to be good. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Good for the
really,
story.
really screwed you guys so many times.
Yeah. So we blow up the tomb and we get teleported to a new dimension. And so we're now in a different adventure module called The Curse of Strahd. It's about fighting a terrifying vampire.
Yeah. Which I will now have to modify, because also the tomb, because I don't know why, but it's like, oh yeah, it's like a black star. So the star is going to be like in the stratosphere, and then everyone's going to fall down to earth. So this tomb of the 9 gods is kind of like spread out over like these hundreds of kilometers of the forest in Barovia. So there's going to be like, I in my mind right now, because I got to figure out what I'm going to do for that, whether it's going to some type of weird hybrid of Curse of Strahd and Tomb of Annihilation.
Can we have a taxi episode one shot?
We can't do a taxi. Like, you show up right, it's just like the side of the mountain collapses. Like, what happened?
The traffic. It's just on the meter.
So yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Let's just go around the table and share like your favorite, your most fearful moments of like playing in the Tomb of Annihilation. Brendan, you go first.
I think my favorite moments was actually just all the camaraderie of Group A. It was actually like nothing seemed to ever get us down. It was super fun to play. So I had a really great time. Yeah, even with new players, it was like it was a really different experience compared to playing the previous season or any of my other D&D games. So I really appreciate that. So it wasn't necessarily moments, but it was like the entire campaign was a different tenor than I was used to. So in a very good way. So I appreciated that a lot.
Yeah, surprising in a death dungeon, like a death module.
Yeah, and you just kind of like let it go, and you're like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna try and forget everything I know about D&D and just do what they wanted to do. And it was like, and it was great. I had a great time, like trying to get rid of all the biases in my brain, and it was fun.
It was interesting you say that, because when it first came out, I was watching streams and listening to podcasts of other people running Tomb of Annihilation, and some people were just like, it wasn't like a group camaraderie. I guess people went in with the bias, like, oh, we're going to die anyway. So there wasn't much of a kind of like that fear of death type of thing. Like, oh, I died, time to roll up a new character. It was very much a meat grinder for a lot of other. And it's like, what's going on in this group? Because both groups are just like, gonna have a great time in the jungle.
And I guess my most fearful moment was probably I would say. Probably the King of Feathers fight, because the fact that I was desperately afraid that their characters were going to die. I didn't care about my life, because I've had characters live and die like 80 times, so like it didn't really matter. for me, but like they seem so emotionally invested. Like, no, we can't die like this.
That was very sensitive.
No,
of you.
it was so that was probably my biggest.
It's a very cinematic fight too.
Yeah, it was super cinematic. So many cannons.
That was the first like truly bad thing to like truly bad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
like that was like the first.
The
one
crocodiles
like,
weren't great,
Yeah.
but like that was the first like, oh no, bad things do happen
exactly.
here. Like it had been such a cakewalk up to that point.
Vacation's
Milo just
over.
crying, eating
Yeah.
the mashed potato with his mirror images.
Yeah, that was the wake up call for me when I was like, oh, things do happen here that are bad, because it had been a very playful experience up to that point.
We just got an airship. You did a
Shit got real.
dinosaur safari tour.
Yeah.
And then the dinosaur jumped on your boat and started to eat people.
Yeah, you get what comes to you.
Balances out. Yeah. Fenquin, any favorite moments, any fearful moments, just general?
Yeah, some of my favorite moments were like the Duran shipping Fenquin and Iku. I thought was really fun.
Yeah.
That was really fun. And also when I figured out that I could use Druidcraft to talk in smells to Dragonbait.
Oh, yeah.
That was great.
So great. Yeah.
It smells
Yeah,
great.
I had the smell language figured out. I even have like a little translation table here, so I
I was hearing that. Yeah, I was listening to it.
Would you care to go over the translations that you had?
I had lemons is happy.
Yep.
Ham concerned.
Yep.
Brimstone angry.
Yep.
Black tar victory.
Yep.
Roses sadness or pity.
Yep.
Aw.
Violets is fear.
Yep.
Baked bread anticipation of victory.
Mm-hmm.
Honeysuckle bravery before battle valor. And then wood smoke agreement. I don't know. These last ones are a little.
I think wood smoke was confusion.
Oh, whoops.
Confusion agreement.
Same thing. Yeah.
When I'm confused, I agree too.
about. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then the scariest thing was definitely being sucked into that black hole. Because it was like, okay, you got to make 10 rounds of dex saves. And if you fail one of these 50-50 rolls, you die.
Yeah, statistically.
And I was like,
unlikely.
well, yeah, I'm going to die. So I just tried to prepare myself. And then I tried to burrow. And then you're like, well, that doesn't do anything. You got to wait. And I'm like, oh, my burrowing has failed.
You were going to get advantage on the save.
Oh, it
but-
was?
yeah.
Okay. But still,
But someone got teleported to another plane of existence.
Yeah, I stopped that before.
I was a very surprised badger, I think, at that point. It was fun world shaping, too. I liked becoming a spider and going and stealing all that stuff.
Yeah. It was, Druids are the greatest thieves in the world.
Oh, yeah. But I would never steal from people unless it was necessary. Because I'm lawful good.
I liked so much about it, honestly. It's really hard to choose like favorite moments. One of my absolute favorite moments is when Mercy comes out of the Sea Hag's tomb, and she comes out, and I said, I blurted out, Durand was betting on whether or not you would live or die, and then you handed Durand a piece of gold.
Oh.
I thought it was really great, just like how our characters are, because like Alethra just tells, because she's just a do-gooder and like likes the rules. You bet against her, but like it meant that Durand bet on Mercy to survive, which is like because he does have like a certain soft spot for us all. Sadly, on the recording, I laughed too quickly and like. Can't hear all of it very well, so apologize, everybody. And the other thing I loved a lot about it is like having two groups is very cool. And so like I got to share a lot of what we were doing with Brendan.
Yeah, we had a chat going through the entire season.
Yeah, so it was really cool to like hear like somebody else's perspective and like not get the full details, but to like be able to share it with Brendan, like hear what was happening in your group, and then listening along as the seasons went on. It was such a very cool experience. And the scariest things were definitely the Velociraptor fight and being sucked into a terrifying void. Other than that, like, oh man, I loved playing Alethra. She was never that in danger and like was so fast and nimble and could do decent damage. Like, I was so happy with how I designed that, how that character played.
I felt kind of bad when you got the Nang Nang powers. Like, oh, he's already got that power. Boo.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want me to tell you what the Shigambi power
Oh,
was?
yeah. What is it?
So good.
You get an extra attack.
Oh.
I'm gonna find that soon in Barovia. Because at level 11 I would have 4 attacks.
And it wasn't the thing that amazes me is how different the two campaigns were. Like you have one module, and then you guys had like met dinosaurs and airships, and we carried dead bodies around. Just really two different experiences.
Yeah, how to steal from. That Medusa, like the running away from the Medusa, was also so exciting, but so terrifying. Like, if you fail the save by 5, you turn into stone instantly. Yikes!
Yeah, that was like I remember cheering at the end of that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that felt really good.
Yeah, I felt bad for that one guy. You unpetrified and then immediately got zapped back to stone.
That was actually a really great moment. As a listener.
All right, Nikki.
Favorite moment probably for me was creating Bipus.
Oh God.
Just because it was so like just complete lunacy.
Yeah.
And it was very me. Like it's my kind of stupid humor. And the fact that you let me do it, like the foam Ponderosa hat was so stupid. Like I was just trying to pile on the dumb.
Yeah.
And you let me.
Yeah, go
and
for
as
it.
a result, I created a really bizarre character that I would have never come up with under any other circumstance. I can't imagine it. And it just, like, just thinking about it now, it just makes, like, I have, like, tears in my eyes because it's just so dumb and funny. And I think, like, my favorite moments were when I created dumb things, like Snake Kite.
Snake Kite.
Like all these like classics
Snake
from
Snake
Group
Kite
A.
2.
And Snake Kite 2, yeah. So I forgot about Snake Kite 2, actually.
Just like you guys forgot about those Commodon Cubs.
No, I remembered every detail. I promise you. Mila forgot. Brendan remembers.
Yeah, so those my favorite parts were just the opportunities to get really creative. And I think that, especially with Bipus, that's when I realized, like, oh, okay, I really can make a world, like, or make my own thing. Like, I didn't really know what D&D was. I had a very loose concept of what I was getting into. I genuinely didn't know what I was getting into. So when I first started, the first episode or two, I was still a little confused about what it was. And then I think by the half of the second episode or third episode, I was like, okay, this is basically just improv.
Yeah. Oh,
this is just improv with some math that's pesky. But, aside from, and they'll help me with that. Yeah. So I just kind of went with that attitude, and I had a great time, and I laughed till I cried so many times.
Not a one. Not a one.
Yeah. And I wasn't anticipating so much humor, and I wasn't anticipating, also building a friendship with real people. And, Brendan's a friend now, and Lindsay's a friend, and I didn't know them before. And I think we got really close as people as well. We'd talk outside of work, and we became genuine friends. And I think that actually kind of showed in the evolution of the characters as well, that even as characters, we were quite different, but we became much more protective of each other as we continued. And I'd like to think that was the influence of our real friendships that came as a result of playing. So that was like the super amazing bonus thing I would have never anticipated. So it was a great experience. I'm very grateful for it. So it was a great first D&D initiation. So thank you, John.
Oh, you're welcome.
And also
thank you
if I may say, not doing this before, was super impressed with John, and I didn't know how much damn work this is.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Oh my God, John.
It is so much work. And the fact that he was doing 2 different campaigns in the same world, and he had to separate things and stagger them and, not trip up and say the wrong thing to the wrong group. I'm very impressed. Like, I really don't know how you did what you did, because I could barely keep up with myself.
Also, keeping a straight face during impending doom.
Oh yeah, no.
You gonna open that door?
So
right.
I have like the wildest respect for people who, especially dungeon masters who do this, because it's a lot of work, and probably at times it can be thankless, like being the president of your condo board. But it's I was just very impressed. So congrats to you, because it really is a labor of love, and you helped make something that I really enjoyed for a whole year. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. A lot of people ask how the timelines went, and they're like, "Oh, it was pure dumb luck. All 99% of the way, it was just it worked out that way." It's like, okay, I gotta have contingency plans if this happens, or if this happens, or excuse me. I legitimately thought you guys were going to cross over an angle. I was like, I have no idea how to do this. What is going to happen? And then
scheduling would have been real hard on that.
Yeah. And also I was like, I don't think I have enough room for like 12 people at the table. I was just like, okay. And then I can't remember who said, let's go to the Heart of Hoop Tab. And I was like, yes, thank you.
It was floating right there. You can't not go to it.
Yeah. I don't think I flubbed up too many things, and the timeline just worked out the way it did. Like, that's just pure coincidence and random chance that it just worked out that way. But it was a lot of fun. It was great to see the two groups interact at the same time and just being like, okay, this is like a group A thing, this is a group B thing, and then a lot of random generation for dice rolls, but also just like throwing in things I think, oh, this would be good for group A, this would be good for group B, and then seeing how diverse and how different they were from each other, and having a great group of players, and just kind of adding on to that D&D family that community always creates. So thank you for playing, and thank you for...
Oh, no problem.
Thank you.
Being a friend.
Thank you for being.
What are your favorite Group A and Group B moments, John?
Oh, man.
Good question.
Okay, so for Group A, I'm going to have to say we never got it done, but the Spotify soundtrack we could make from Group A was probably there was so much music, and it was so much fun listening to you guys just sing like nang nang into the room.
Oh, I liked your Kaiser Chiefs reference, which is very subtle.
Oh, thank you. I think the music, a lot of that was also my influence as well.
That was wonderful.
I sing a lot, so yeah, it was fun to have those sing-song moments, and there were plenty of them in Group A.
Oh, yeah.
Queenie.
Queenie in the boat.
Queenie in the boat. Yeah, I can't even keep track of how many there were. There were a lot of references.
Like 4 or 5 per episode.
Yeah.
It actually forced me to go, like, not forced, but I actually went and watched the Bang Bang, and I was like, oh, this video is inappropriate. This is not a good song. So for Group A was definitely a lot of the music. For Group B, I think it was the long play, and I think this is more for me, was as soon as Agnes touched Mercy and got the sweat off of her, I was like, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be under the surface the entire time. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that long con of like, they can just, like, I was secretly hoping you would go back to Agnes and be like,
right,
what's the deal with this? Like, oh, well, let me show you a couple of things. And when it finally, the fact that I was kind of disappointed you guys didn't do it, but then I always knew in my mind that the two things I always had preset in my mind is that if anyone got teleported to another dimension, it was going to be Barovia. But it's always going to be like one. I always anticipated being one person. Then be like, that's the end of your adventure. You're in Curse of Strahd now. And the other one was that Mercy was cloned and in the cage with the Sowen sisters. And I was just like, whoever gets there first, that's what they're gonna come across. So for me, that was a lot of just seeing how, because Group B didn't know what was going on, but just the sequence of events that you guys chose that led up to those moments, just I thought that was absolutely amazing for me. Like, it was so much fun. As for fearful moments as a DM, I think the first for Group A was right off the start, because you guys had a brutal time those first couple of days in the jungle.
That was a grind.
Yeah. Like the snakes and the undead crocodiles and the plesiosaur. Oh yeah, you guys kept all the snake meat out, and the plesiosaurs came and scattered.
It was snack. It was called snack.
Yeah. Snack.
Delicious snack.
For Group B, for fearful moments, it's got to be either the hog, like the Hoghead's room.
You're so welcome.
Sorry.
Oh man, yeah. There's a curtain with clothing shapes cut out of it, and because of that, you immediately are drawn into this hog's head. Your mind is taken over.
Yeah, that was everybody got. No, one person didn't get zapped.
Durand, I think.
Because Durand has advantage against being charmed as a half elf.
Yeah,
so good.
Everyone else, because everyone just lined up.
Yeah,
it was one of those things where, in hindsight, as a DM, like, oh, this room is awful. Everyone's going to watch their friends just line up and get crunched.
Yeah, if it had not been for Iku and Durand, we would have died.
Well, you also succeeded on all your saves to pull you out.
Yeah, that was a very Hawk moment for Alethra.
Yeah.
Like, no, my head has to be in here. Like, people were pulling me away, and I was like, nope, I'm so strong, by the way.
The other one was Nangalor. I was worried that people were going to get petrified in Nangalor, because essentially when Iku got petrified, I was like, oh, you guys are toast, because one, no more Iku.
Yeah.
Two, and then I forgot that Tom's character Kel had the Chewinga
Charm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, Kel.
You burn bright, Kel.
Shine on.
Actually, if Kel had survived, continued on, Kel and Alethra would have been a dynamite front line.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man,
that would have been so good. Oh well.
The funny thing about Iku is I never ever planned to remove Iku from the game, because she got petrified, she got the catatonic state.
Yeah.
And then she got teleported. And it's like, that was all random because
really?
Because Duran's like, I need help with my dreams, and he was like, I have the dream spell, I can go and look for you. And it was specifically on the day,
the third night
where Serac killed the other Kuatls in the dream.
Yeah,
it's like that's gonna freak, because I was family members to that she just got killed. Like, had it been any other day, would have been fine, but
oh wow,
boom. And then just for getting teleported out of the tomb was I think I rolled, it was a 7 or an 8 on the D8 of, would you get hit by prismatic spray? And it's like, out she goes.
Oh, man.
So lucky. Like as a DM, there's just so many details that you never get to reveal. Because you come up with all these things, you're like, oh, they're definitely going to do this, and they never do.
Like entire towns get avoided and stuff that you wrote on.
Yeah. So what are some of your favorite like things that just never made it to the screen?
You guys never went to the eastern side of or the western side of the continent. There's a whole Hearts of Darkness Ontharr Froom storyline.
Oh yeah,
that was going to happen. That was one of the things for the ritual, as Agnes was going to say, depending on the negotiation, but she's like, I need the hand of a paladin. That's why she was always going after Mercy's hand. And the other one was like, you have to go find Ontharr Froom and give me his hand. And he's like, because of the whole events from the third season, like lost like his son by proxy. Pretty much his faith in institutionalized religion has been shaken. So he's gone Kurtz down at, I think it's called like Fort Vengeance. And the fort's like a shamble. Like, it's a mud pit. People are sick. Like, he's just there to fight the undead until he dies. And so you would have shown up and it's just like Ontharr Froom, like raggedy hair, scraggly beard, just like rusted armor. And
that's a shame.
Everyone else is miserable. But I will say he will be back for season 5 for Heist. Yeah. I guess I can announce that now. Season 5 is going to be Waterdeep Dragon Heist. It's going to be new cast as I try and figure out what to do with the Tomb of Strahd. Straddlation.
Papa Straddle.
Papa Straddle. That's the perfect name for it. It's Papa Straddle. So yeah, it's going to be a short season because it only goes 1 to 5 levels, but it is going to be a lot of role playing, a lot of Waterdeep, a lot of fun and Ocean's 11 type of heists and bank heists and stuff like that, as it gives me time to figure out what to do with the other group. But yeah, I think that's it for this, for season 4. Thank you everybody for playing. Thank you for being part of our story. And thank you for everyone who's tuned in and listened, and everyone who's sent comments, tweets and messages about your enjoyment of the campaign. It's been amazing and crazy fun, and we can't believe that people are actually listening to it. And
yeah, it's a long episodes.
Yeah, it's been, so I worked out the math that if each group just had their own season of Tomb of Annihilation, it would have actually been like, because the longest we've gone is 27 episodes with Vault of Wonders. And this is 47 episodes, so that would be 23, 24. So still less than the
wow, that's like almost 20 each for
a little over 20 each. Yeah.
Wow, that's a long campaign. That's a lot of sessions.
But again, thank you for listening. Don't forget, you can find us on Twitter at Diecast Podcast. You can also find us on any app that plays a podcast: iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and our own website, www.flyinglizardstudios.com. And let's just go around the circle and share our socials so you can share along with your favorite role players and characters. Brendan, where can we find you?
At Makeshift Brand on Twitter and Instagram.
Trevor?
I'm at Trevor Coleman. Coleman like Gary Coleman or like the camping gear.
Nice. I'm Miles A. Baker on those things.
And Nikki?
I'm not on Twitter because I don't like it.
It's a garbage place. Like if you message us, we'll like be really nice.
But if you want to see me in my regular daily life, it's strange_miss. And if you want to see stuff I make that you can buy,
they're really good.
That's at Little Shop of Hearts.
Don't you have a new podcast to plug?
I do.
Oh, do you?
Oh my God! Crossover universes.
I didn't think I could do that. I guess I can.
Yeah,
you can say anything.
Sure. Okay. Thank you for reminding me.
Somebody hit the mute button first. Okay.
Yeah. My friend Chris Melito and I are starting a Toronto barbecue podcast called Smokey and the Brisket.
Nice.
And
Smokey
and the Brisket. Yeah. So we're gonna go to all of the barbecue joints in Toronto, and our tagline is 2 morons that like barbecue, because we're not experts.
That's a description.
Yeah, we're not experts.
Put that on a shirt.
We're not trying to be experts. We're just people that like eating meat, and we're gonna make some comments. And we've already established a lot of rules, and it's going to be a nice place to listen to. We're not out to bash anybody. We're out to promote what we think is good. and why. And we have a couple of tricks up our sleeve that will be happening.
And where can we find these podcasts?
It will be at Smoking the Brisket. It will be at all the regular places you can listen to podcasts. We don't have a .com yet. I doubt we will. Technically, we're recording the first episode on Tuesday.
Nice.
That dates this, but in a couple days we'll be recording, and we'll just see how it goes. It's going to be a weird ride. I don't really know why I said yes, because
barbecue.
I just want.
You're gonna get so much barbecue. That's a clear yes.
Busy. I just I don't know. I keep saying yes to things. I have too much going on, but it's fun.
8 Meat made comments is definitely going on my tombstone. 100%.
So thank you for reminding me, Miles.
No problem.
So
I like it on Facebook.
So do I.
So if you want to catch Nikki's future episodes of Barbecue and Meats, give a subscription to her podcast and give her
Smoking the Brisket on Facebook.
Yeah.
And on Twitter.
Give a follow, give a like.
Ooh.
And
I'm not doing the Twitter, Chris is my partner, Chris.
Hold on. All right, then. So I will interact with Chris.
I stay away from Twitter. It's not my thing.
But I guess that's it. Thank you for season 4.
Who are you, by the way?
Oh, I'm Johnny.
I've never met you before, so.
Get out of my house, you strangers. Who are you all? We've gone to an alternate reality already. We should have talked about that. Never mind. They'll carry over into the next couple of seasons for sure. You can find me on Twitter at PhotoGuy79, FOTOGuy79. And you can find this podcast on Twitter at Diecast Podcast. And anything that plays iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. I talk DMs, D&D, cat pictures, cat videos, anything with cute, adorable animals, I will post it. Anything funny or goofy. And I think that's pretty much it.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
You're very welcome.
It was a great season. I really enjoyed it. So.
Season 5 will start in 2019 sometime. We'll start recording soon. We have weddings coming up. So for a couple
when are you getting married, Brennan?
Next week.
Oh, damn.
That's exciting.
Well, it'll happen in the past. So if you follow my Twitter, you'll see maybe the collapse of a man.
Wow. And I'm 2 weeks after you.
Collapse of 2 men.
And then Trevor is like
next year.
Congratulations.
All right.
I'm not engaged.
Well, get out of here.
This is going to air in like 2 months. So you got
I got lots of time.
It's possible. Anything can happen.
Actually, it's probably going to end at the end of November.
Oh yeah. Well,
We've hit I like to have an 8-episode buffer week where I think we're in episode 6 of the buffer week. So it's going to come out pretty soon.
Sweet.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I will see you in the future. That's a terrible tagline. And that is it. We are officially done. So I just want to say thank you to all the players. Thank you to everyone who's listened. So thank you to Lindsay, Brendan, Nikki, you were so amazing your first time playing D&D. It was mirrored pajamas are going to live on in the lore of the Tarek cinematic universe forever and ever. What a great and wonderful experience it was to play with you. I hope you keep playing. Good luck in your new podcast. And for Group B, for James, for Miles, for Trevor, for Tom, what an amazing cast of characters. What a series of events that you had to go through, and what an end to. I didn't think it would happen like that. That was just unreal, that ending of reality, literally a reality changing ending to the Tomb of Annihilation. A big extra thank you to Miles and Trevor. We upgraded our sound gear this year, and Trevor was just absolutely key and vital to teaching me and helping me out and showing me the ropes and everything like that. And he was amazing to get the sound like this quality. We're always trying to make it sound better, but a lot of that heavy lifting was done by Trevor to help teach me, help me understand, and help learn me in the ways of sound engineering. And of course to Miles did so much in scheduling and organization behind the scenes stuff. I can't wait for you guys to hear his adventure of the Brightwood Academy. It's going to be awesome. It should be coming out soon. And a big thank you to Neil Gray for writing our awesome theme song. It is going to be it's amazing that we have something as good as that. It just blows me away every time we hear it. And thank you so much for taking the time to write that for us. And to everyone who sent a tweet, a direct message, an email, thank you. We read them. We love them. We share them around. It makes us feel good about doing this. And we're amazed that you are listening to our adventures. And thank you to everyone at the Tomb of Annihilation subreddit. I wish I knew about this earlier, but that community is so great. If you need help running Tomb of Annihilation, or you need ideas or inspiration or just have questions, it is such a good, tight-knit community. Everyone there was awesome. I sincerely wish that I had discovered that place sooner, because it is such a wonderful place. And everyone helps each other out. And it's just what the D&D community should be. So that is going to be it that's the last little bit of season 4. Season 5 is going to be Waterdeep Dragon Heist. We have a whole new cast coming in, and then we're going to take I need a little bit of a break from Tomb of Annihilation. Just had to clear the palate, as it were, but we're recording those season 5 episodes right now. Again, thank you for everything. Thank you for listening. Thank you for interacting with us. Thank you for following us. It is wild, that people are listening to our adventures. Like we're still bewildered by it every day. So thank you a million times over. Thank you. So season 5 coming up. And again, if you haven't yet, follow us on Twitter at Diecast Podcast. You can follow us on any app that plays a podcast, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify, and leave a rating review. It does help so much to see ratings and reviews. It does help us get ourselves known out there across the various podcast apps. So if you have time and you want to leave a good or a bad review, just let us know how we're doing, because we can fix and adjust as we go. And you can also find us on our own website at www.flyinglizardstudio.com. That is it for season 4. Brightwood Academy is going to come out very soon. Season 5 is going to come out sometime in March, depending on how many episodes. I like to get about 3 or 4 episodes in the can before I start releasing them. But it's going to be quick. It's going to be a quick little adventure. And I think that is it. Again, thank you to everybody who's listened, to everyone who's sent us a message, to anyone who's just said, awesome job. Thank you so much for this. And thank you for asking questions. And thank you for just being part of the D&D community. We love you. Hope everyone has a great time playing more games. And I think that's it. We'll see you in season 5. And for Brightwood, I hope you guys have an awesome week. I'll talk to you later.